So these kind of modern techniques definitely we are going to use for making this metro rail an extremely state-of-art facility. It is important that I should state that none of the metros in the world as standalone are financially viable. Because as you know that this is a public transit system, you cannot have fares unreasonably high because the common man is going to travel on this system, and it is important that the fares are kept in a level where common man can afford it. Under the circumstances, normally where these projects are run by the government, these systems are subsidized by the government through some other means. Whereas Hyderabad Metro Rail is trying an innovative method of allowing the concessionaire to develop about 18.5 million square foot of what they call transit-oriented development, which will have concessionaire right to develop commercial establishments and rent it out during the concession period. For this particular project, the total period runs for about 35 years. The first 5 years is allocated for engineering and construction, and then the concession runs for 30 years. And in that 30 years, concessionaire, that is Larsen and Toubro, is going to collect the fare from the people, that is on the metro, rents from the traffic-oriented development, and also whatever areas we are going to create, those will be put for advertising. And those rentals, by innovative advertising, will also help financial viability. So this is a combination of three revenues actually. The fare collection is one, the rentals for the properties is another one, and the advertising. The best part of it, from the government's point of view, is that land is not given to L&T on ownership basis. This land is given to them as a lease. That means at end of the concession period, we are supposed to return all the assets back to the government. Of course, there is one important clause in the concession agreement which talks about automatic extension of the concession period by another 25 years. Just to explain, in case the concessionaire performs to the expected level and a concessionaire wants to continue, then he can automatically get an extension of another 25 years. So if you really look out from that perspective, the project life is about 60 years. That is first 5 years, 30 years and 25 years. And we are confident with the track record of Larsen and Toubro in project execution of mammoth magnitudes, sufficient knowledge and experience on the construction of very large projects, and all the resources of construction being available with us from our sister division, we will be able to, and we are very confident that we will be able to deliver this project in the time frame what we have planned. The whole idea was to find a golden mean so that least of the properties are affected. And that is how the alignment was finally approved by the government. All three alignments are approved now, and work has just started. After starting on the Nagaland, now recently we have also commissioned for the foundations on the second line, which runs from LB Nagar to Miapur. We are starting that from the Miapur end, because Miapur is going to be another depot. And for metro to start commissioning, the depot is going to be very, very important. And that is why if you have seen, both the depot we have taken in possession, started the work there, and the lines have started from there, so that we can commission. As and when we have a stage of about 8 to 10 kilometer ready, we can actually theoretically commission metro to run. And that is our plan. Today we are dividing this particular project into 6 parts. Total 71.16 kilometer. We want to, this is of course our internal planning for the planning purpose and the resource mobilization purpose, that we will be executing this project in 6 phases, that is to start with. And as soon as one stage is ready, we will try to commission it. And then give about 3 to 4 months of time, and each stage will be commissioned. My today's assessment is there, if everything goes right, probably the first commission can take place between March and May of 2015, that is 3 years from now. And that day really our dream will be realized, and people of Hyderabad will be extremely happy to see that most modern metro in their city, and I am confident that people of Hyderabad will get tremendous benefit from this particular project. Because sometimes you have seen there is a debate going on between the bus and the metro, BTS versus metro, MMTS versus metro. Actually, you have to look at from a perspective that these mass transit arrangements cannot be looked into in competition of each other. Actually, they have to be in a synergetic mode, because every system has got peculiarity. What MMTS can do, metro cannot do. What metro can do, MMTS cannot do. Similarly, what buses can do, metro cannot do. What metro can do, buses cannot do. So each has to be in a synergetic mode. Our effort is also to see, that is where we are making a lot of efforts, whether we can have a single card fare system where you can travel on the single fare card from metro to bus or bus to MMTS, and convenience of the passengers will be enormous. One is that they will receive it very well. But as you say that this system is going to be new for everybody. So even we have planned some of the activities what we call public interaction. Once the work starts, we are going to have some road shows where we will be educating people what metro is, how it will look, how it will how it will operate, and what are the do's and don'ts. I'll tell you, internationally speaking, actually, internationally means I am talking about the developed part of the international scenario. A city reaches about 1 million population, they start planning for metro. That is the history of all the metros in the world. India, what we are talking, that a city, and that is what is the advice given by the Planning Commission, that when city is approaching about 3 million population, they should go for metro or some kind of mass rapid transit system. And that is why today, to my knowledge, about 23 metros are being planned. They are on the either planning stage or some are in execution. Bombay is under execution. Line 1 is already execution, and recently they have even appointed consultant for line 3. Line 3, I understand, is going to be a very, very challenging job, because that is going to be underground. They have selected underground this thing. Jaipur is already in execution. Gurgaon is under execution, though it is, but it is specifically for that locality, and they have got a connectivity to the Delhi metro. People are talking about Pune, people are talking about Ahmedabad, people are talking about Lucknow. Cochin is under discussion for a long time. So I am sure, and that is the reason I am telling, probably everybody is looking at this Hyderabad metro also as one of the success story. See, in India you need always a success story for something to follow. And Delhi really has shown that. The Delhi model has worked out really well. And today they are announcing one phase 3, and phase 3 construction has also started. So I am confident that once the Hyderabad metro rail gets successfully completed and implemented, many cities in India will come forward. There is always challenge in that, because two debates are going on whether we should have an underground, whether we should have the elevated. There are two schools of thoughts. One is that cost is exorbitant for underground. At times it is about 2.5 to 3 times than the elevated. The second perception today, because a lot of people are talking about a green concept or sustainability. When you go underground, your energy consumption is substantially higher. You require air conditioning, you require energy lights all the time, whereas when you go elevated, you don't require air conditioning, you don't require lights. And the third, but it is not very, but it is a significant factor people are worried, is the activity of terrorism, and that is world over. The underground somehow is conceived as a little more dangerous from the perspective of the terrorism activities. And especially what happened in London metro about 3-4 years back. Since that time, people are constantly thinking about it. Unless you have very secured system, it can be sometimes dangerous. I am confident that this metro is going to take root in India.